So you're going to have to create a PSA as your next assignment, and this is going to be due after your feature package. And PSAs stand for public service announcements, and they are typically produced by various nonprofit organizations to create awareness of a specific issue. And what happens is, in order to create this awareness, you might they are, because it's serving the public and it's part of the FCC requirements for public service for television stations. The television stations will air these for free, and even so, you might find some of these public service announcements in social media, because they're trying to create awareness about something. If you notice that right now there's a public service announcement regarding the coronavirus and what you should do, and they're talking about social distancing and stuff. So this is a really good ad. You can play it on your own. This is about 1:30. This is about bullying. Okay, so I'm not going to play the video. You should play it on your own, but pay attention to that video. And then, oh, it looks like that one's not working now. So I'm going to have to find it again. In some cases, in order to draw awareness to it, you might create suspense. So in your next project, you might think about how you can create suspense in telling your story. Because again, PSAs are typically 30 seconds, but they can be up to a minute depending upon where they are. And sometimes you hook the audience from the get-go, because sometimes what happens is, if your PSA is particularly on social media, you have to hook that audience within the first 3 seconds. And this particular video does that. You want to use very simple and vivid language. You want to avoid a lot of statistics. I'll talk about statistics in a second. So it's very short scripts, emotional. Avoid these difficult words. Active voice. Think conversational. Okay, so just you're not talking the entire time. You're also not using a lot of text on full screen. A lot of my students will overload the viewer and use like a lot of text. You shouldn't have to read a lot of text on screen. You use full screen text, or if you use just maybe a few words on a full screen, or just you want to add a few words onto the video, and then use some of your own words in a voiceover to help illustrate what you're saying. Okay, so this is an interesting one on mental health. So again, I want you to watch these videos on your own, so you see what I'm talking about. Sometimes you can capture your audience with some good visuals. So this one shows a drone and shows this guy cycling. So it really captures the audience, who are like, wow, this is really, really beautifully shot. So good visuals are always going to draw your viewers in. This is a really interesting video. It's called Put Down the Cell Phone. And if you notice, so if you go through this video on your own, notice how each, sorry, my dog's growling at me. You notice how there's not a single edit in there. So they had organized every actor in the video to be at a certain place, and then the camera moves through each miniature scene within the scene to tell the story and to get you to understand the effects of what happens when you text and drive. This is an interesting video. It's how, if you have statistics, you want to simplify it so that people can understand, because as a whole, people really don't understand percentages. They don't understand statistics. So if you can visualize it for them. So this is a really, really cute video showing kids and how, the kids hold up a bar graph and such. So I encourage you to watch that on your own. And then you consider the audience. And so if your grandparents watch this video, they're not going to know what you're talking about. But certainly teenagers, people that are younger than you, really should think about what they're posting about. So a lot of teenagers, in their desire to get attention from kids their age, they will post stuff, provocative video and provocative text, to draw the attention of people that they desire attention from, but they aren't aware that students that there are other people watching, and so people that might be less than desirable might also be seeing their work. So go to the Ad Council on YouTube. They have a lot of really great ads on there. So these are all public service announcements, PSAs. Always check and update facts. So make sure that anything that you say is actually correct, and be specific. So one student said, cell phone use causes brain cancer. I'm like, seriously? That was something that was popular about 15 years ago. Before they were actually cellular phones and not digital phones. So you have to be careful about what statistics that you put up or what information you give, and make sure you verify those. Make sure you don't use any copyrighted images, video, or music. So how can you tell this story in 30 seconds that's going to be compelling? It's going to have a call to action. So it's very important you have a call to action. And how can you use video, your own video, and some testimony from someone else to help illustrate the message you're trying to convey?